What's going on, everybody? I hope you guys are ready because tonight you're hanging out with the cool kids. This is where only the cool kids come and talk about cool stuff. So yeah, how y'all doing? Nice shades. Thank you. Told you I'm a cool kid. Only cool kids wear nice shades. Yeah, lots of love. Cool. So guys, welcome to the show. Basically, just wanted to be silly for a second. Bought those because I have a little skit for like a promotional video that I'm going to create very soon for the documentary with Harley, and I'm going to do like a serious one and a funny one. Just promote the crap out of those before they come out. So that's the only reason. But anyways, enough of that. We're here to talk about serious stuff and such, right? Right, of course. So, let's see here. Housekeeping. So, as far as housekeeping goes, make sure you guys do the likes and make sure that you're subscribed, because I'm getting kind of large enough now where YouTube kind of wants to play games. So, yeah. Make sure that you're subscribed, have the notification bells on and all that. And let's see here. Make sure you guys are all subscribed to the Patreon. It's only $1 a month. All the proceeds and money that comes from all that, it goes to me buying equipment to be able to go out into the field so I can do cool things like what I'm doing with Harley, bringing you guys an awesome documentary and stuff like that. It all goes directly to the show. Same with the merch. You guys know merch. Self-promotion is not my thing. I don't like doing it. I feel weird doing it. So yeah, there's that. But also, one thing I don't feel bad about promoting is the cups. Check out the cup. Well, green screen's not enjoying it too much. Anyways, point is, Mystic Mountain Creations makes the cups, and I get a teeny tiny chunk off of that. And the proceeds to it goes to helping victims of Hurricane Helene. So, it's a good cause. The cool thing is, you don't have to get my stuff from there. You can get anything you want made from there. Anything. So go and check them out because they are awesome and they are our friends and we love them. So yeah. Let's see here. Anything else? Housekeeping wise I need to do? Mike's having lots of UAPs show up. Holler if you need me, bro. Be safe out there. That's cool. Yeah. So that stuff's out of the way. And let's see here. Let's put it on our normal music. There we go. Enough of the I can only handle so much. All right, so tonight we've got this awesome dude that I think you guys know from Ohio, my state that I was born in, but now I live in Alabama, thankfully. But yeah, cool dude from Ohio. You guys know him. You guys love him. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Tim. What up, Tim?
Good evening there, Jim.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm still kicking. I'm still above ground.
That's great. We can't have you passing too soon, man. You got too much work that you got to do. So that's good.
I hope I can get out and do some here soon.
Oh, whenever you do, make sure you let me know and we'll make sure we have you back on, okay?
All righty, buddy.
All right. Well, Tim, tell everybody a little bit about you.
I'm Tim Gayheart, a co-founder of the Ohio Bigfoot Researchers. We started that group in 2022, and we've started doing investigations. Had our first sighting in 2021, full body sighting.
Mm-hmm.
Then from there on, it's been doing camp outs and researching and trying to get some pictures and get some close interaction with them.
Heck yeah. And from what I've seen, you got a lot. Like, y'all ain't no joke. Y'all are actually out there and getting it done. And I am just blown away by the stuff that you've sent me, man. It's amazing.
We're boots on the ground, and my wife has been doing it here this year. She started another group. It's called Wild Women of the Woods. Her and one of her girlfriends, they're camping almost at least once a month, and they're getting quite a bit of evidence. But I don't share her stuff. I only share stuff that I've been in contact with.
Right. That's understandable. There's always room for her to come on and hang out with us too, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, as we were discussing a little bit backstage, everybody in the field loves to hear about Dogman. And I know that you have a very interesting Dogman experience that you can share with us tonight. Do you mind getting into that a little bit?
Well, sure we can.
Awesome.
It wasn't it wasn't what you call a. Well, I'm still here, so it wasn't a deadly encounter. It was a scary encounter, but it wasn't a deadly encounter. Encountered it not. It was in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Saltfork to a camp out. There was a group camp out, and we met up with people down there, and we got to know this one guy. His name is Josh. Me and my wife Renee, and everybody. It was on a Friday evening, and it was just right at the edge of dark, and we all had a campfire and a round table discussion of what people seen and what evidence they had, and we all split up, went into groups to go out and do investigations. And we decided to go to the one area where we had a lot of Bigfoot encounters, because he wanted to go there and see the area where we've seen them and got pictures of them and stuff. That was where our first encounter was.
Right.
So me, him, and my wife Renee, we went to that area. And we walked down through there. It was still wasn't dark yet. It was getting almost dark. It was dusky, dark. Just enough daylight you could see at least 70 to 80 yards yet. And then we was showing him and telling him where we seen all the Bigfoot down in that area. Then it got dark, and my wife and him wanted to go up to the cave area. And I'm like, that trail up that cave is really narrow, and it has a steep drop off on one side of it. Yeah, and I'm like, how you going to walk it when you ain't even got flashlights? They had no flashlights, no kind of lights, but they decided they was going to go walk up toward that cave area.
Oh man.
So I'm standing behind the car in the parking area, because I can't do trails, and I sure can't do them in complete darkness. My legs don't work right, so I walk with a cane already. So they decided to go up in there. So I stand there behind the car smoking a cigarette. By this time now, it's dark. You can't see 15 foot in front of you at the best. So they're gone. They're gone for probably no longer than 10 minutes. And I hear them coming at a full dead run. Now it's completely dark, and they're running down this trail. And this trail's got probably a 30-foot drop off. It'd be on your right side. It'd be on your left side as you're coming out. It's on your right side going in.
Right.
And there's a creek. It drops down to a creek. And so they come out there running, and they're both absolutely scared to death. And I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? And they're panting. They're both white, just white as they can be, pale. And I'm going, what's going on? What made you run out there like that? And I said, is the Bigfoot after you? I said, they usually ain't aggressive here. And they're they're trying to get the breath to tell me what they've seen, and then he goes, "There's Dogman." I'm like, "Dogman?" I'm like, "What's Dogman?" I'd never heard of Dogman,
Right.
and I never had any experience with anything like that. And he goes, "Well, they're like a werewolf," and I'm like, "Oh my God, you tell me there's them things out here too?"
Yep.
Because I've just been getting into Bigfoot, and it just barely been a year. And he goes, "Yeah." He says, "There's some dogmen in Ohio," and he said, "I've run into them a couple of times." And Renee, she goes, "Yeah, they're dogmen up in there." And then I'm like, "What do they look like?" And then they start explaining what they look like and stuff
Mm-hmm.
while we're standing there. And she said, "Well, there was at least four." She said there was two that was hunched on all fours. Then there was one that was kind of crouched down. And they said the fourth one was standing up, and they said they could see its ears and everything. The backlight of it, the sky behind it, they could see the ears and everything on it. And they pointed like a German Shepherd on top of its head.
Right.
And while they're standing there telling me this stuff, and I'm looking around and watching this stuff, and where we're parked, the way I was facing was toward the cave, and to my left is the dead end road. It runs into the lake. Part of the lake was right behind us.
Mm-hmm.
To my right is the only way out of that area. One way out. There's one way in, one way out, unless you want to swim.
Right. Bless you.
And we're standing there and talking about the dogmen and stuff, and he's telling me what they look like, what they are, and all this. I'm looking around and I'm seeing these eyes glowing. Now, there's no lights down there. There's no kind of pole lights or any
Right.
kind of light source down there. And I see these eyes glowing down about to my left, down toward the dead end.
Mm-hmm.
And they're big gold-looking eyes like this. They're probably this far apart.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Hey, Josh, do you see that down there? What is that?" And he looks and he said, "You them glowing things there?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "That's their eyes."
Oh man.
And they was glowing gold, look, real bright gold color. And I'm like, "Their eyes glow too?" And
Yeah.
now that's the first time I've ever seen this in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And I've hunted ever since I was big enough to carry a weapon. I was
Right.
10 or 11 years old. And I'm looking, and there's one set. It's probably at least 80 to 90 yards down to my left, up on the hill. And I'm looking on up closer to us. Here's a second set of them.
Mm-hmm.
They're like 60 to 70 yards up on the hill to my left. Then I look right. He's standing right in front of me.
Right.
My wife Renee standing over to my right, and they're both still panting and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I look where the hill turns to go toward the cave. Here's another set of eyes, but they're a little closer down toward the ground, like, and looking around a tree at me. Then I turn to the right, next to the trail that goes to the cave. The woods comes down on the right side of that trail, and the hill goes that way, and the road goes down through beside of the hill. And here is another set of them eyes. They're every one of them the same color. They're all gold. And this one, this in the bushes right at the edge of the mowed trail. At the beginning of the trail is where it's mowed and stuff.
Right.
And it's probably 4 foot off the ground, looking over the bushes. And I'm like, "You see, these are on our right and our left. They're." And then he started saying, "Well, they're trying to figure out how to get her all the way around us." And I'm like, "Because the water behind us." And he says, and there was two other people. They was parked up in the next parking area, right in front of the trail where we go to the cave.
Right.
And they asked what's going on, and he was telling them about it. He said, well, we want to go to the cave. He said, don't go to the cave right now. He said, it's absolutely too dangerous to go up in there right now.
Right.
And that was the craziest thing I ever seen. And then while we standing there talking, I seen them both. They're weaving around like this, and they're getting more paler. And I'm going, what is going on with you? And my wife goes, I'm getting a headache. I'm getting sick to my stomach. It feels like I need to puke. I'm dizzy. And he said, it's doing this. I'm feeling the same way. And I'm like, what's going on? And he said, I think they're hitting us with infrasound. And I'm like, what's that? And he starts explaining that. And I'm like, it wasn't affecting me, but I was watching these, and you could hear the one over to my right that's closest to us. You could hear him like he was scratching the side of the tree with his nails. And it was getting to be a hairy situation there. And I didn't have a gun or nothing, no weapon on me at all. All I had was my cane. From that night on, after that trip down there, I started carrying a weapon after that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, always.
Up until then, I never carried a weapon because I'm not that afraid of the Bigfoot one around.
Yeah.
But after that,
I don't blame you.
Encountering them things, I do carry a weapon now, and they're getting sicker. But the more we stand there, the sicker they're getting. And I can't drive, but I could drive if I had to an emergency. And I'm like, do we need to leave? I said, it's getting to be a pretty tense situation here. I said, I don't like being surrounded.
Right.
And I don't have no weapon. All I got's a wood cane. And I'm like, do we really need to leave? And he goes, yeah, I think we need to get out of here before they decide that they can come forward after us. So he says, because they're thinking about what they need to do. And so we got in our vehicle and we left, but the people and the other people stayed there, and we told them as we was getting ready to leave, you need to get in your vehicle and do not go anywhere out through there. It's not a safe place to be right at this moment. I didn't know if they believed us or not, but it was pretty intense. And it took my wife like 3 days to get over that sickness.
Yep. That sounds about right. You know, what you're saying is hitting pretty close to home. Like I have my own experience during the last big eclipse that we had here, and you know, there's a whole lot of strangeness that ended up leading up to like the final encounter I had that night, you know, with UFOs and all kind of craziness that was going on here. And but what you said about them scratching on the tree is what's really hitting home, because that's that last night that I was out there, you know, I'm by myself at this point, and I'm hearing something approaching, and it's basically like stomping at me. And, you know, like my first thought is, you know, deer will do that as like a distress signal, right? They'll stomp and huff or whatever. I'm like, okay, it's got to be a deer. That's got to be what I'm hearing. But it keeps on coming up closer and closer until I feel like it's just right there. I mean, no, well, for all intents and purposes, it was. I mean, it was like 30 feet away from me at most, because we just got done building the house here, and we still had a brush pile out back. And in that brush pile, there was still plenty of scraps of tin, you know, and I'm sitting here talking to this thing, and all of a sudden, you know, instead of making a noise or stomping back at me, it just starts scratching down the tin.
Oh, man.
And I'm just like, yeah, no. I jumped into the side by side, and funny enough, you know, my first reaction was not to go inside the house. I actually jumped in it, didn't have no gun with me because I was just enjoying a campfire with the family until they went in. I just had a machete. So I cut on all the, like, the big fog bar lights and all that, and I'm like fixing to like go around where I can finally like see what's there, and I've like got the machete raised, and I don't really know what's going through my head. I guess I'm gonna try to ram the thing and then stop or jump out and stabby. I'm a little crazy sometimes, y'all. I'm sorry. But like if I would have went all the way around, that's when I would have gone past my own property line, and that's when I started hearing, the Holy Spirit kind of talking to me and being like, hey, I don't know what you think you're trying to do, but if you go past this line right here that is legally yours, it might not be a good thing for you. So just chill. It's gonna go. I'm like, you know what? That's a great idea. What the heck am I doing? So yeah, that's just, a little aside. You're mentioning that subject is really, striking with me. And granted, like, I couldn't see what was doing that on my end. I don't know if Dogman, Bigfoot, I don't know. Like, my gut was telling me Bigfoot, but I don't know if Bigfoot have claws. I don't know. There's been a Dogman back here.
They have fingernails like us.
Right. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. And like I said, my grandmother has seen a Dogman back there, like where it came from. So I don't know. Dogman is one of those subjects, man. It's they're a lot more disconcerting than Bigfoot, in my own personal opinion. They're a little bit more frightening, a little bit more scary. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh yeah, they can make the hair stand up on you. I'm telling you, it was a intense situation there.
Right.
And that was my first encounter with them, and I think I've had one more other encounter with them because I did get hit by infrasound. I don't know if it was a Dogman or a Bigfoot, but that I'll tell that one next.
Sure. Yeah.
We was Saltfork. This was in April of, let's see. No, it might have not been April. It was in 23. And there wasn't no leaves. I think the leaves was just starting to come out at that time. So it could have been like May of 23. But we was at another place at Saltfork. They call it Devil's Knob. There used to be a school there back in the mid 1800s, early 1800s. And they used to have, they called the kids and them called them red-haired giants. Red-haired devils coming looking in the windows while they was at school during the day. Okay. So we went to that during the day and checked it out. I was fine with it then. We seen this old school foundation, the rock that they made the foundation out of and stuff, and the tree there. It's a big eastern white pine that teacher used to tie her horse and buggy to and stuff. And this tree is humongous. This tree's over 100 and some years old.
Right.
And so we checked this place out during the day. Then that night we went back up there. There was a whole group of us. There was about 12 of us, I think, that night went up there. And we got up there, parked in the parking area up there. This all gravel road. It's out in the middle of nowheres. There's this is in the state park. There's no houses, no lights, no nothing, nowhere.
Right.
And we're all standing around, and some of them split up and started going down the road and over into the woods and stuff. And there was 4 or 5 of us stood around the truck. They put out their, one guy had all kinds of microphones and recording sound equipment and all that, had all that out. And we started hearing this sound like something beating on a steel drum. It was like boom, 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 and I'm like, what is that noise? And there's nothing around there. I mean, nothing. It's just
Right.
pure wilderness. And that went on the whole time. We was there for about an hour and a half. That went on the whole time we was there. After we got there, about 10 minutes after we got there, it started.
Hmm.
And it just started getting creepier by the minute. The longer we was there, the creepier it got.
Yeah.
The one guy, he is a veteran. He went down the road, and he was probably a couple hundred yards down the road away from everybody. And he said he standing there with his lights out, watching through his night vision and stuff. And he heard something running up the gravel road behind him. He turned around and there's absolutely nothing there. It creeped him out. And he comes up here. He said, I ain't going out away from nobody. I'm by myself no more. He said, he said, and he was a veteran. He's been in the military. He's not no scary person. And he said, that made my blood run cold right there. He said, when you hear somebody running up behind you in the gravels and you turn around and there's nothing there, he said, I ain't never had nothing like that happen to me. And so we're standing there talking, and other people were still out a little bit away from us. And I started getting sick. I started getting a headache, and I'm like, what's going on? And I took a couple Tylenol about an hour before that for my back, and I noticed I shouldn't be getting no headache after taking a couple Tylenol. So I'm getting this headache. Then I started getting nauseous to my stomach. Then I started getting dizzy. Then Renee and a couple of the women looked at me and said, "Are you all right, Tim?" And I'm like, "Something ain't right here." I said, "This is not a place. This is not a good place at all." He said, I said, "Something's affected me here." I said, I've got a headache. I'm getting dizzy. I feel like I need to puke." And I'm like, "This ain't good at all." Then here come the other two of the other guys, and they're like, "Anybody feeling sick?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And these two other guys are feeling sick now. And I'm like, "This is not a good place." And the guy that was running the investigation that night, he was over by the guy that was running the sound equipment, and he's picking up these weird sounds. He's saying, "Never heard nothing like this in my life." He's done it for years. And he said, "I know there's no kind of buildings or anything here." He said, "I've been all here for years doing this here." He said, "There's no buildings, there's no kind of metal or anything around this area to be beating on something like that to making that noise." So we discussed this, and I'm getting sicker, and these other guys are getting sicker, and we're like, the main guy, he goes, "Tim, you sure? I said, "It's not a good place." I said, "I'm getting sicker and sicker and sicker." He said, "Hey, everybody load up. Let's get out of here." We get out, all loaded up, and we all start down the road. I get about, maybe 500 yards from the area going down the road. All once it just started going away. We got to the blacktop road, which was probably almost 2 miles. I was completely fine then. And I'm like, that's crazy stuff now.
I've had the exact same thing happen to me multiple times now. Of course, not as bad as the one time when I was with Relic, but yeah, that seems to be the case, and I don't know how to explain that. I mean, everybody likes to kind of chop that up to infrasound or ultrasound or one of them sounds, right? And I'm not convinced of it being the case all the time personally, because to me it feels like when I've always had like an MRI or a CT scan with contrast, they put that slightly radioactive thing in the IV, and it's able to like highlight what's going on within you more. Like that feeling of once that starts going in you, you know, like you start getting warm all over. It's almost like a hot flash or something, I guess. You get nauseous, your head starts feeling weird. I mean, it feels almost exactly like that. You know, I'm personally on the boat where I feel like it's something to do with radiation, you know, and EMF is just like a, you know, it's just a side effect or something that just comes along with it. You know, I mean, nuclear bombs and EMPs kind of go hand in hand. It's the same thing. You know, they do the exact same thing. You know, that's what I feel with it. You know, and for me, the best things that I know to do to like get over it quickly, besides leaving the area, is every time I'm out there, I'm always wearing like those copper infused socks. I'm always wearing steel toe boots. And I always eat something that has animal protein in it. Always. I don't know what it is exactly about that, but it's something I learned in what's that book? Oh, the book He Came to Set the Captives Free. Not a book I'd put on the recommend for people because it's a super hard read if you're like empathetic at all. Like hearing what Satanists and occult people get up to is not always fun. But the point is that like she brings up the point of like spiritual warfare and stuff like that. And it has something to do with like Ark of the Covenant, like being around the Ark of the Covenant and like the radiation that it would produce and like Melchizedek priesthood and stuff like that. But I don't know. I can't go into all of it because I can't remember it. But the takeaway is eat some protein, like lots and lots of protein before you go out. It helps you get over it faster, and something about it seems to make your resistance higher. So, you know, keep some beef jerky on you. It helps. Trust me. I've stress tested.
It's not a good feeling at all.
No, it sucks. It's so it's so painful. It's not comfortable at all.
I'm glad I've only had it done to me once. My wife's been hit with it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I believe that. So he didn't get a visual on anything. It's just a sound running up the road on him, huh?
Yep. It was all you could hear was, you know, like when something's moving the gravel, it was coming right up behind him on the gravel road, and he turned around and turned on his headlamp and everything. There wasn't absolutely nothing there. And he said, I knew it was close because the sound of the gravels, it was only no more than 10 foot from me when I heard it last before I turned around.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, I'm not about that. That's never a good time.
No.
Wow. So,
and he was carrying his weapon too. He dropped it, and but there wasn't nothing there.
See, that's one of those things. Like, you know, people like to talk about. Let me see. I'm trying to pull this up. People like to talk about Bigfoot hair being hollow, right? They're like, oh, it's because it gets them. What's the word? It's like that's their camouflage. Like it's see-through, therefore they can kind of blend in with what's behind them.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can like buy that per se, you know, because to be fair, so is a polar bear's hair. It's also see-through and they're white. Granted, we have white Bigfoots, but I don't think that has anything to do with like the said cloaking. You know, I could be wrong, but just my thoughts, right?
Now I had an encounter of a Bigfoot at Salt Fork at night, and I shined a flashlight on it, and it was at least 11, if not 12 footer. And you know how you hit an object with the flashlight, how you'll get the light make like a circle or a square, what type of bulb you're using on the object. Well, it didn't on that Bigfoot.
Really? Did it
No.
just absorb the light?
Yep.
Yep. Yep. Before we get off the subject of Dogman, because I feel the flow. I feel the flow. Can you go ahead and briefly go over this footprint for us?
That footprint was tucked in the same area where we had the encounter of the four with the eyes, but it was 2 years later. That was right at the edge of the lake, right behind where we was standing at.
Mm-hmm.
That was in August of 2024 when these pictures these footprint pictures, and that is like a canine track.
Mm-hmm.
And you see how big my hand is.
Yeah.
It was probably this much wider than my hand and probably this much longer than my hand,
Oh
and it
man.
was over 2 inches in the ground.
Wow. Wow. That's insane. Yeah, I'm
So that,
noticing 4 fingers, is that, or toe?
yep, four toes.
And then I see the central pad like a canine would have.
Yep.
Wow. Wow, that is huge. It's interesting because like when I was in Tennessee, we were seeing Harley and I were seeing prints like this that were 3-fingered or 3-toed, whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
my wife has got some three-toed casts, but I don't know if they're Dogman or Bigfoot.
right.
But they're only like 12 inches long,
Yep, that sounds about
three-toed.
right. Wow.
And they was found at the beach at Saltfork this
Mm-hmm.
spring in the first part of April.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, man. So, okay. So let's keep going on now because you're tickling my tism real good, man. Let's go on with this more of the Bigfoot stuff now.
All right. If you bring up the one picture of the female and her young one.
All right. Let's see here. Let me see here. Is it the black and white one?
I'm not for sure. It's the one where there's a lot of trees and she's sitting. There's a big rock right behind her.
It's in color though, right?
I think so.
Okay, I think it's this one. Let me see. Let me go back to sharing the screen. Sorry, y'all. The whole share screen thing is not my best thing in the world. I'm not the greatest. I think it's this right here.
No, that's the young one. That's the young one by itself. That was caught.
Oops.
I caught that one in. I think that was in June of 21.
Let me see here. You tell me when to stop. You can see this, right?
I barely, because it's a small.
All right.
Nope. It should be that one.
Oh, let me go back.
Back up one. That
This
one.
one right here?
Yeah. Yep. You see it? She's right. You see that dark thing back there?
Mm-hmm.
That's if you could get it blowed up more, that's a female, and just to her right is just to the right, looking right over the bushes right there. That's the female's face right there. Her name's Sally.
Okay.
And just to the right of her head right there, you see the little one peeping up over the bushes. And the thing down below her face is one of her breasts.
Oh, okay.
But that is that's a cave area where we seen the Dogman and stuff. That's the reason we was going down there so much, because she might spoke to me that her name is Sally, and we've seen her 7 or 8 times, and she's come out and let other people with us see her with her babies. As April of 23, we took 4 people down there, and they got to see her sitting there breastfeeding her baby.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay. Huh.
But that was the first. That was the second third encounter I had, and it was all in the same day. We seen three in one. I seen the first one in one day. The first day was down there, and it was in April 21.
Mm-hmm.
I was standing behind the car smoking a cigarette. My wife was down at the lake in front of the car looking for shells and tracks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was standing behind the car smoking a cigarette, and I looked watching the hill, and this big black one stepped out behind a big oak tree, walked across about 18 foot, and went behind a big beech tree. Now, it was the very first full body encounter I'd ever had in the daylight, and knew exactly what I was looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And I was standing there and arguing with myself about, did I just see what I seen? And it was 8.5, 9 foot tall at least, solid black, and it was probably every bit of 4 foot across the shoulders. It was humongous.
Yeah.
It's not the biggest I've seen, but that was the biggest one I've seen at the time. And so I walked down to where my wife was, told her, she come back up there with me. I showed her exactly where it walked from and where it walked to. Then I didn't see it no more after it. And it was about 80 yards from me. And it was probably around 1:30 in the day. And it was probably 70 degrees. Sun was out, very little wind. And I mean, I got the full view of the whole body from its feet to its top of its head when it's come out behind that tree and walked right there straight across. Like I said, it about 18 foot between the trees.
Right.
It walked right across in the open. And I stood there and argued with myself. Was I seeing that? My eyes playing tricks on me, or mine playing a trick on me, or what?
Right.
And I'm like, I know I seen it. And after she come up there and I showed her where it was at, the road dead ends. There's a guardrail there right at the end of the parking area. You have to go around the guardrail to get back on the old road. And we was walking that way toward the lake, and we was going down through there, and there was a couple places down through there. Well, first we had to step over a log that fell in the road right out behind the guardrail, about 15 foot, and then there was a log. And she told me, said, when I watch, don't trip over that when you go across it. And so stepped over it. We went down through there, and I kept seeing these trails coming off the hill on the embankment where they cut out for the road. And I'm like, well, deer or something's coming down out from there to get water. And first one, I didn't see it. There wasn't no tracks at all in the first one, but there wasn't no grass, no weeds or nothing. It was slick. So we walk on down, and here's a second one. Now I'm standing there looking at the second one, and I'm like, is that a footprint? There's a little forked twig sapling growing there. It was only about 18, 20 inches tall. Yeah. And it was right behind it. And I took my cane and I pushed the sapling around over and asked her, I said, ain't that a track right there? And here was about a 9-inch track. It was about 9 inches, probably this wide. Now this embankment's like this. Right. And it's probably 6 to 7 foot high. And it was almost in the middle of it. And she got to looking at it and said, yeah, it's got 5 toes. And I'm like, that's not a human foot. Ain't nobody barefooted step there and ain't a track down here and ain't a track anywhere on up that way. Right. And I'm like, so she took pictures of it. I'm standing there still looking at this, and she's walking on down toward the dead end. And I'm watching that, looking at this track, looking up the hill, seeing if anything's moving, because I just seen that one. It ain't been 15 minutes, and I just seen that one. Right. And I'm watching really close for any kind of movement, because I know it has to be still in that area. And she goes on down that way, and then she gets down probably 50 to 75 feet from me. And then she goes, hey, babe. I turned and I said, what? She goes, I see one. I'm going, what? I see a Bigfoot. And I'm going, looking at her. I said, where's your phone at? In my back pocket. Because she's the only
Right.
one who had a phone with her at that time. So
Uh-huh.
she gets her phone out. She starts taking pictures of it. I said, no, I'll work my way to you slow. But see if you can get a clear picture of it. So I start walking down toward her slowly. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching the hill as I'm walking toward her, just in case I can catch it moving. I get down there. She said, it's right up there behind that big white tree, which was a big old beach. There was a grove of beaches right there in that little area.
Mm.
And
Right.
here's this little, it ain't 3 foot tall, little black one. It's standing right beside the tree with its one arm up on the tree like this.
Mm-hmm.
And we're standing there looking at it, and she'd got a couple pictures of it, but the phone, it was about 75 yards.
Right.
And the phone couldn't zoom in enough to get a good clear picture.
Mm-hmm.
And all once we hear like you pop your tongue, that little thing went around behind that tree just flying. And I'm like, well, that must be Mama or Papa telling it to hide.
Yeah.
And we're standing there, and it's watching, waiting for it to go look around the tree or go on up the hill behind the tree, and it never nothing. It went around behind that tree, and that was it. And I said, well, I'm going to stand right here, and I'm going to watch.
Mm-hmm.
You go down on toward the dead end and see if it comes around the tree or what. Or see if you can see it standing around behind the tree or sitting behind that tree. And so
Right.
she goes on down that way. She gets down there where she could look back my way to see if she could see the back of the tree and stuff. And it was already gone.
Mm.
So we walked on down and looked at the lake and stuff, and the trail there, and looked
Right.
for tracks. Didn't
Nothing.
see nothing. So we come back out. Now I come back across this log
Mm-hmm.
to come to the car. Well, we come to the car. She said, well, let's go over to Bigfoot Ridge and look around.
Mm-hmm.
They say that's a good place to see something. I'm going to take a drink.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. No problem.
So we go on over to Bigfoot Ridge. Like I said, this is like 1:30 so in the day.
Mm-hmm.
We get over there. We look around. Set up one of the picnic tables over there. They have camping areas there. We stay there probably an hour and a half. We decided we was going to go somewhere else, so we come back out. Daggone, don't start.
It's all good, brother.
So we come back out to the main park road. She said, let's go back over where we seen them at. I said, okay. So we go back down that way, going that way. And we get all halfway there.
Mm-hmm.
We're driving down the road. She's driving. And I'm like, Sally's going to come out and show me her hairy breasts. She turns dead while she's driving. Who's Sally? And why is she going to show you her hairy breasts? I said, it's
Right.
it's a female. That's her name.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, shut up! You're talking stupid." So we get back down there and pull in and park in the same parking spot where we was when we was first there.
Yeah.
Now it's getting close to 4 o'clock now.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, we stand there and look a little bit. She said, well, let's walk back down through here and see if we can see anything up on the hill where the little one was.
Mm-hmm.
We come around the guardrail. She's in front of me. She goes down through, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. She turns around, what? I said, where'd that log go? She looks
Oh.
around. She looks around. She says, "Well, I didn't even think about it not being there until you said something." I said, "We crossed it going in and coming back out. Where did this log go?" And now this log
Right.
is as long as a 2-lane road,
Right. Right.
and it's like 8 inches around. And I'm
Okay.
like, "Where the heck did that log go?" And there's no wood chip marks, piles where like somebody sawed it up with a saw or anything.
Right.
And I look about 20 foot over toward the hill. Here's 3 pieces of log laying over there. And I'm gonna go, "Is that the same log?" I'll walk over and I said, "Yeah, this is the log."
Yeah.
It's broken to 3 pieces, about 6 foot, 5 to 6 foot a piece.
Yeah.
And it's put in almost like a triangle shape.
Whoa.
And I'm like, there's no axe marks, there's no saw marks. This log been whatever got it, put its foot or whatever, you know how you put your foot on a log and pull it up
Right.
the branch to break it. It's broken 3 pieces. And this log's not rotten.
Mm-hmm.
It's dead, but it ain't rotten. And I'm
Right.
like, there's no way a human being could break that thick of wood. That's 8 inches of wood. Ain't no
No.
human being breaking that.
Mm-mm.
But I mean, it was just something crazy. And we went on down through there and looked, never seen nothing. Come
Wow.
up back behind the car,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a little flat area between the hill and there's a ditch. Then you go on over, and then there's the trail that goes back to the cave.
Right.
Well, this flat area, they had a payloader in there cleaning. People must have been dumping trash or something,
Mm-hmm.
and it was scraped bare dirt and just payloader tracks and the ruts where they'd pushed it,
Mm-hmm.
cleaned it up. I said, "Let's walk up in here and see if there's any tracks." I said, "Whatever come off that hill and broke that log." I got ahead of myself. Now, where we found the first track
Mm-hmm.
down there on that slide on the hill,
Mm-hmm.
that 9-inch track, I went there as when we went down through there, and I went to that place and was looking at that little track. Here's a big track right beside of it now, and I'm like, "Hey, can you
Mm.
pull up that picture on your phone?" I'm pretty sure there was only one track here. So
Right.
she pulls the picture up on her phone. There's only one track. Now there's almost a 17-inch track right beside of that one now.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, I know that wasn't there. When we're looking at the picture and it's not in the picture, and I'm like, it went back up the hill right here. I
Right.
said, it was now this is blowing my mind. The logs broke. Now there's 2 tracks over there, one a 9-inch track, one's almost a 17-inch track on that
Mm-hmm.
same spot on the hill. And the distance were from the track to you rest the top of the bank was every bit of 4 foot. There's not a
Mm.
human being going to step 3.5 foot up on a bank and step
Mm-hmm.
another 4 foot and get out on to more like a level spot on the hill.
Right. Yeah. Not easily. Right.
Yeah, I
Wow.
don't know anybody that's got a 4 foot stride, at
Right.
least a 4 foot stride,
Right.
and and who would be barefooted with a 17-inch foot and about a 7.5-inch wide foot and about a 5-inch wide heel. And I'm like, no, I'm absolutely mind blowed out right now.
Right.
But
Yeah. No doubt.
yeah, I forgot to tell that part.
That's
But
okay.
we went over there to the area I was talking about where they use the payloader.
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking down on one side of the outside, it'd be the right hand track. She's walking on the inside of the left hand track
Right.
toward the hill.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking for tracks. And then she turns. I'm looking, and I see turkey tracks, deer tracks. My throat's getting dry.
Take all the time you need, man.
Um,
It's all good.
but I see all these other tracks, but I ain't seen no Bigfoot tracks. Nothing. I'm like, where did it come off the hill at in my mind?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to figure out how it got down there to move that log and break it and stuff. And while I'm doing that, she said, "Hey, babe." I go, "What?" She said, "I'm looking at one right now. It's standing right in the wide open and looking dead at me." And I'm like, "Okay." I said, "Where's your phone?" It's in her back pocket.
Right.
She gets her phone out. She starts taking pictures. I work my way over to her. Well, she's
Mhm.
only like 10 foot from me. I'll get over right beside of her. She said, "Look straight in front of me." And I look and I'm like, "I don't see nothing but bushes." She said, "Step right in front of me." So I stepped right in front of her. She said, "Now look straight up the hill." I look and there it stands. A big black one. She's about 8 foot tall. Big old female. I mean,
Right.
well, no doubt she was female. And I'm like, "That's Sally." And
Right.
she was she goes, "Well, you think I can get closer?" Now, this is the first one she's seeing besides the little one. She's looking right at it and she starts getting overwhelmed. Her heart rate's going up and she starts tearing up. And she said, "Man, this is an experience in life that
Right.
not everybody gets to do." She goes, "I wonder if I can get closer and get a better picture."
Yeah.
I said, "As soon as you start walking toward her, she's gone."
Yeah.
So I stepped to the side a little bit. She made about 2 steps. I looked up and she was gone.
Mm.
Have no clue where it went. It was gone just time enough for me to step aside and her to make about 2 steps forward.
Mm. Wow. Just like that.
Yep.
Well, oh, nasty Sally and her hairy breast, man. She's an escape artist, I tell you.
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy.
3 in one day. That just absolutely unheard of. I mean, I can't even believe it myself, but I was there and lived it. And
Yeah, for sure.
my wife was right there and lived it.
No doubt.
And like I was telling you behind when we was back in the back before we started the show and stuff, that we had one picture of her, had it a hard copy.
Mm-hmm.
That picture was that picture, and somebody walked off of it with it. We was sharing it at one of the campouts, and somebody put it in their pocket.
Oh no.
And I don't have her phone somehow got deleted a few weeks later. And we
Oh,
just so happened that next morning, she went to Walmart and had them copied off of her phone on hard copies. And
yeah.
that was the only copy. And like 2 weeks later, her phone went completely dead, blank. I mean, it got erased. Everything on it did. And I don't
Yeah.
have that file nowhere to get that picture, but
Mm-hmm.
it was just like that picture you just showed with her and that little one right there. No,
Yeah.
I've got that. I've got that and backed up. I got it
Mhm.
on hard drives in different places.
Good. Yeah. I don't know what it is about it, man, but if you ever get something way interesting, something always ends up happening to your phone, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It's crazy how that works. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, what does blame on Nasty Sally? Just blame
yeah.
her.
It's I don't know what did it, but I mean, one morning she woke up before we could get a computer or a disk or a hard drive or something to put it on. Her phone, she turned it on. Everything was erased. Everything, her contacts, everything were erased.
No, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. This is the unspoken things of squatching, you know,
Yeah.
like I'm saying, like this stuff happens all the time. You guys out there in YouTube land, y'all have no idea. Like you might catch the best footage in the world, but don't be surprised that the footage and the SD card is completely corrupted and you can't get a single thing from it. It's just
Best thing is
part
to
of it.
do is as soon as you get to a place that and you still got it on that, you need to make more than one copies. You need to
Yes.
make hard copies. You need to put it on disc back it up somewheres on disc and keep them.
Yep. I don't know how those crazy monkeys do it, but it sure is weird.
Yep.
Sure is weird. One of those little threads that I like to pull. It happens a lot, And so, all right. So I have a question. Now, when this all happened, what time of the year was it? Do you know?
It's April first, about the second week of April. I think it was around the 14th, 15th in that area.
Okay. All right. So not much in the way of probably like leaf litter on the ground, right?
Oh, there's a lot of leaf litter on the ground. There wasn't much foliage on the trees at the time.
Okay.
It's just starting to bud out and starting leaving.
Okay.
So that's the reason you could see further distances. Once
Ah.
it leaves out down there, you can't see. You'd be lucky to see 35, 40 yards.
Hmm. Okay. Very interesting. Right. There was one more question I had attached to that, but she gone. She gone. Well, I guess before we get out of here, actually,
Well, you
you
can
know what?
show some of the other pictures if you want to.
Yeah. I was actually going to say, can we talk a little bit about the fingerprint one that I've got? Because let me pull that sucker up because that one is really interesting. Yeah.
There's one picture, full body of one running up the hill. If everybody likes to see it, too.
All right, let's go back to what we're doing. Hold on. Add to stage. Pull this back up. All right, so this is where we are. You tell me where to stop.
Right there. Zoom in on that one. Back up and zoom in. Right there. Full body.
Full body. Yep, I see a head.
You can see the hand right down here, the toward the bottom. You can see it's a hand, fingers, and all.
Yeah, you can. Heck yeah. Check that out. Wow.
That was a brown male. He pushed a tree over and ran up the hill. We got his picture as he was running up the hill from after he pushed the tree over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a probably 8 or 10 inch round green tree. He pushed it over. Wanted us out of that area. Roots and all out of the ground.
Wow. Yeah, no doubt. That is very impressive. Wow. Sorry, y'all. I'm just kind of like mesmerized. I realized I was like this, and I probably shouldn't be like that. I'm trying to contain myself. But wow, yeah, that's very interesting. And the detail in the head up here, like
Got one's and one of the pictures has got a male, and you can see his ear and his eye and top of his head and stuff. He was sitting down at first, then he stood up. He has a gray beard.
let me know.
It's that one's from the house right there. Should be that one. He's over here to the right. He's sitting down right there. See his head just between the leaves right there next to the branch over here to the right.
To the right?
It's right here. You see this black thing, then it just straight across right there. You see just part of his eye and his head and stuff right there.
Oh, wait, right here.
Yeah, right here.
Oh, yeah. I see his eye and his nose, his
He's sitting
mouth.
right behind He's sitting right behind a log.
Oh,
Then in the next picture like that, he'll be standing up right beside the tree.
let's see. This one?
That one. See him standing right here at the right at the tree? You have to move it down. No, it down. You have to go down and over to maybe move it to the left. And he's standing right there beside of that tree right there. Look between the leaves right there. You can see his eyes, his head, his ear.
Right here.
You got to go. No, you got to go up toward the top of the picture. On up. Right there. Right beside you, see the tree right behind him? He's standing right to the left of that tree.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, he was sitting behind the log that's laying there, and he stood up right there.
Yeah.
That was in 2020 through the dates on the picture.
Right.
Yeah, you can see his eye and his ear and everything right there.
Date. Yeah, no doubt. I do see that now. Wow. Okay.
She was standing over in an angle, and she could see his front of him, his face and stuff, and he had a gray beard hanging down on his chest.
Hmm. Do you have a good estimation about how tall you feel like this guy is?
9 foot.
9 foot. That's a big old boy. Nice. All right. Cool. What else we want to look at?
Oh, you can go to any of the rest of them there. There's the
Yeah, I definitely want to hear about this a little bit because this seems like it was a great trip. Let me see if there's more.
the
Oh yeah.
one in the field. Okay, that's partial of a side of this. You know, like if you have your hand like this,
Mm-hmm.
this is this finger and down.
Oh,
Partial of this palm.
right.
I putting it like this.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting on the tailgate of the truck when it reached up there and was standing there touching the truck. That's the back door on a 2023 F4 to F-150 four-wheel drive crew cab. That's the back door, and I was sitting on the tailgate when it come up there and touched the truck.
That is one big old finger. Let me tell you what.
Yeah, that's a partial palm and finger. Then over here is just a fingerprint.
Right.
Just the first digit of your finger.
Right. Yeah,
His
I
joint.
can see the creases there in his palm. Like
Yeah.
it's like this is the
Hand-
meat of your hand, and it's kind of wrapping
Yeah.
around. Yup.
Yeah, it was like it's trying to get a hold of the edge up there.
Wow.
That was less than 8 foot from me. Me and another researcher, Gwen Purcell, was sitting on the tailgate of the truck, and the rest of the group was down in the woods when it come up there.
Crazy. Man. That's amazing. And what part of Ohio was this, if you don't mind sharing?
Saltfork State Park.
This is all Saltfork then, okay.
Most, well, there's only like 3 pictures that ain't Saltfork. 4 pictures that ain't Saltfork.
Okay.
All the rest of them are Saltfork.
Mm-hmm. Oh, let me pull up my thingy. All right, so remove. That's enough. Awesome. That's so cool, man. That is so cool. So, all right. Well, since you've been out here doing all this, like, is there any like things like maybe reoccurring like patterns or like anything that you're noticing about all this stuff that's just keeps popping out to you? Is there anything like that?
Just about everywhere I've seen them is by water.
Yep.
And then every place that I've really seen them, it's really high concentration of game, vegetation, wildlife.
Mm-hmm.
And there's usually 2 to 3 that run when we're in the areas. There's usually 2 or 3 that's always around you.
Yeah.
And they're usually either in front of you, there'll be one in front of you, or they'll be off to your left and right, or if you get in the woods very far, there'll be one trailing behind you too.
Oh yeah.
But the easiest way to find them, the easiest way to see one, go to a good location where you've had sightings, where people's had sightings,
Mm-hmm.
and try to find the areas where there's not a lot of traffic so you can hear.
Mm-hmm.
And just pull up a chair, or if there's a log close by, sit on it. Just sit and watch and listen. They'll come back they'll come within feet of you. They'll come right there, and if they're on stealth mode, you could be sitting 10 foot from one.
Yep.
Look low, look high. Don't just keep your eyes focused on the ground, because while you're looking down, they're watching you, and
Yeah.
you're not seeing them.
Mhm. I learned that the hard way. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And actually, you know what? I actually do have one more question before we get out of here. Oh, Nasty Sally with her hairy breasts. When you mentioned that she mind speaks with you,
Yep.
now can you go into a little bit of a description about like how her voice sounded, like the best that you can recall?
Well, it's like a female voice, but it's more raspier.
Mm.
She spoke with me a couple times. One time she wanted a hairbrush because she seen my wife using a hairbrush in the car before she got out of the car when we was down there
Mm-hmm.
brushing her hair. So she wanted a hairbrush so she could make her hair pretty. So we ended up taking her a hairbrush down there.
Wow.
And my wife, we was down there. It was in it was August of 24.
Yeah.
No, not August. It was April of 24.
Mm.
We was at it. Had a big group camp out and everything. Les
Mm-hmm.
Odell and a bunch of other people showed up. Well-known researchers, YouTubers, and all this showed up.
Mm-hmm.
My wife and them, they all go to the cave area where she's at.
Mm.
Well, we told them about the brush story.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're down in the cave area. Guess what comes flying out of the woods?
A
A
brush.
hairbrush.
Oh.
And several people got to see it.
Yeah.
And it hit the ground right in front of them.
Uh-huh.
And my wife picked it up because none of them didn't want to touch it because it's Sally and us.
Yeah.
So they picked it up, and it had little teeth marks all around the wood handle because it was a wood hairbrush with black bristles.
Oh, okay.
Had little flat teeth marks around the handle on it. And my wife
Oh.
took it back down to where we gift her stuff at,
Yeah.
and the hairbrush disappeared again.
You know, did you guys happen to like see any hair like wrapped up in the hairbrush, or was it fairly clean?
There was hair in the hairbrush, but we don't
Oh,
collect DNA of evidence because it's just wasting your time. They ain't gonna believe it anyways.
that is the unfortunate
I'm
truth. Yep.
I'm not out to prove nothing that they exist. I know they exist.
Right.
If you don't take me for my 100% of the truth that I'm telling you, then I don't know what to tell you. Then you must just keep on believing the lies, and I don't lie about nothing. I tell 100% of what we see, what we find, what we've done.
Yep.
And it's all 100% truth, and I don't exaggerate about nothing. And
Awesome.
like I said, if you want to see one, have a clear your mind, go to an area where they've been seen, just sit and be quiet. You'll hear them or you'll see them. Some of them might even throw rocks at you or sticks. But that's the way you're going to get to have a better chance of seeing one. Now, a lot of people can't deal with seeing it because it is a eye opener and a mind opener. Then you know you've been lied to your whole entire life. There's no such thing as things out like that in the woods. There's a
Yep.
lot more out there in the woods than you ever want to see.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Especially in the state parks. Crazy how that works.
Yep. Oh,
Crazy.
yeah.
Just one of those threads, y'all. One of those threads I keep telling y'all about. But anyway, so Tim, man, dude, this was awesome. This was awesome, man. I've
Thank
got
you
to
for
have you
having me
on
on.
again. And yeah, you got so much out there, man. Let's do this again. Maybe see about getting Renee on
Okay.
too.
All right.
All
You'll
right,
have to ask her, man.
I will. I will. I'll ask. Well,
She's
awesome.
weird about that. She's weird about that stuff.
Okay. Well, before we get out of here, man, just tell us one more time about the Facebooks and the YouTubes and all the stuff that you want to promote, real quick.
Well, we have a Facebook group. It's called Ohio Bigfoot Researchers. We have around 5,200 members. You have to answer the questions before you get to be a member. If you don't answer the questions, you will be declined because we don't allow trolls. We don't allow disrespect. We don't allow anybody to make fun of anyone in there. And there's no dancing Bigfoots and none of that stuff being posted in that group because we are 100% fully into bringing truth and nothing but truth. And there's no AI junk or anything. We don't allow none of that stuff to be posted.
Right.
If I don't believe the evidence that some groups are putting out, it don't get added to the group. If it's something because I've seen enough of them, I know what's not real and what's real. If I see stuff in their stuff that is not real, I don't post it.
Nice.
And we have a YouTube channel. It's Ohio Bigfoot Researchers, and you can also find us on YouTube, and I mean TikTok. I have a thing on TikTok too. I share stuff on TikTok. Tim Gayheart. I have Facebook. Tim Gayheart. Then Renee has her group, which is Wild Women of the Woods.
Right.
They share stuff too. They have some pretty good stuff shared in that group of eye shine at night on they have thermal imaging. They share it on there. So check them out.
For sure. You guys go out there and check them out. Show them some love because this was awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. You know, it truly was a treat for me. So, all right. Well, Tim, just hang out. I'll be there in just a second. All right, bro?
All right, brother. Yeah, everybody, good night. And yins all take care and God bless.
Heck yeah. Well, guys, that was the show tonight. I hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I mean, that really was something else, you know, and there was multiple threads to pull there. I hope you guys caught it. If not, go check it out on the replay. But awesome. So much good information there and just entertaining. I mean, shoot, I don't know that I can not think of anybody now. If somebody has the unfortunate name of Sally, oh, nasty Sally and her hairy breast is just going to be forefront in my mind from now on. Oh, Lord. Awesome. But all right. Well, guys, you know the drill. Check out the merch, check out the Patreon, check out the stuff. Be sure you guys, make sure that you have liked the show before you get out of here because that really helps me out with the algorithm and all that. Leave a comment if you don't mind. And yeah, do the things. Guys, I love y'all. Tuki tuki. And next week is going to be a little different. It's going to be a premiere. I've got to do a pre-record because Friday I've got to get on a plane. I'm going to Florida to record one of my own personal experiences for some new show coming out on the History Channel. So I'm not going to be here doing a live show, but it's going to be a good show. I'll do my best to be in chat with y'all. I don't see a reason why I wouldn't be able to, but either way, come check us out still. And be looking for cool stuff to be happening. So love you. Tuki tuki, peace.